Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what happened.
A genius wouldn't accept the first conclusion that comes into their head is correct. Most geniuses don't even think they know everything.
We can at least agree he died from the fall.
No. Yes. Tan line. There's rings in the bush over there, by the way.
Must have come off in the fall.
The blood on the hair and the hand don't match. Drier on the hand, thicker on the head. Nice shoes.
So, did he jump or was he pushed?
I'm not Magic Lestrade. We're gonna need more information than that.
To the roof?
Let us question the wife first. Quickly. Excuse me, Mom.
Sherlock!
I do apologize. Does your husband usually gel his hair?
What? No.
Must have been a special occasion. And it was you that reported the body, correct?
Yeah, that's right. He called me right before. He was telling me he loved me and to come here right now. I'm a teacher, you see, so I've been away for a couple of weeks.
And what was his temperament?
He was a lonely, sad man already, and I tried my best, but the couple of weeks before he went, he was always sad and easily aggravated. Money's been tight and he's been working overtime. I should have been there for him.
Are you crying?
We have what we need for now. We can come back when she's recovered. Let us go to the roof.
Thank you for your service. Yes, thank you.
Lestrade, when you inspected the house, was it warm? The widow, she seemed extremely cold and her face was blushed.
Now that you mention it, the windows were all steamed up. The heating must have been left on overnight.
Not typical of someone with money issues.
Perhaps he was spending on it something other than his wife. Gambling, maybe?
You're on the right track, Lestrade. But I think the question here is not what, but who. Let's go to the roof.
There's another witness round the corner.
A woman?
Yes? He's lonelier than I thought. Good God, man, show some restraint!
No wonder you're so often wrong when you so readily assign your own motives onto others. Sorry, I do apologize. Tell me what you saw.
Not much, unfortunately. I was on a walk and I heard someone say, "Come here," and I looked up and it was some guy on the roof, and then he shouted, "Hey," and I didn't know if he was talking to me or not, but then he pointed at me and he said, "Over there," and so I started walking towards him to see what he wanted, and then out of nowhere some rude fella just rushed past me, smacked me on me noggin, and I was out, and when I came to, the man was gone.
And where were you stood when he pointed?
I don't know, unfortunately, on account of my head. Couldn't tell you.
Regardless, you've been a great help. The full picture is forming, but there's still something I need to find. Let's go to the roof. Just let me look about first. You may proceed.
I suppose he must have dumped this here after calling his wife. Had no use for it anymore.
A moving image, but completely the wrong order. The boots, Lestrade. There was not a speck of paint on either boot, but they were worn and muddy enough to imply that the person did not care and did not take care of those boots at all. Especially if they were suicidal. There's no sign that he stepped anywhere near this mess.
So the phone was placed here after he fell? I'll go get the boys to have a look at it, although it looks pretty busted.
Lestrade. Oh, yes.
So, if you ever need to call us, you know our number, 999, and I'm very sorry about your husband.
Thank you, that means a lot to me.
I've never had. Oh, we found...
Tell me on the way.
On the way to where?
Just walk, man.
The phone was mostly ruined. We've got the owner's name, Luke Tarbs. We managed to extract today's call history. First, a call from an unknown number. Then a call to someone known as the Village Idiot.
A good friend, then.
Then a missed call from his wife. He tried to call her back shortly after. After that, nothing else.
So, a number memorized and intended to call, but was never stored. That almost confirms it. I think I know nearly all that happened. Stop. We're here.
How on earth did you know these were going to be here?
How many times? I'm not a magician. I simply knew something would be here. You see, on the roof was a blood spatter and a line above a thicker splodge. So the man stood on the ledge, blood dripping from his hands, and suddenly raised his hand to point, explaining the line. The line extended around the body area, if you had eyes to see. And the line, I simply followed.
So, you mean the hand was bleeding before the fall?
That wasn't his blood.
Good God.
Unlikely.
What happened here? I believe he can tell us.
I didn't do anything.
That seems incredibly unlikely.
You must be the village idiot.
I'm not saying a word till I have my lawyer.
I only require you to say one word. Let me tell you exactly what happened, and then you can just say yes at the end. The first thing I noticed on the body was the scent of a woman's perfume. After confirming that it wasn't the wife's perfume, one can come to certain conclusions. The wedding ring was worn on the inside, suggesting it's frequently removed. But the tan line was faded. And that implies the skin is exposed to the sun far more than usual. Next to the body were 2 bottles, but one was not smashed, along with some cigarettes. Clearly these had not fallen from the man's pocket in the fall, but instead been disregarded earlier, with the second bottle coming out of his pocket in the fall. This leads me to believe it's certainly possible the ring was in the same pocket. Especially since alcohol causes inflammation, his fingers would likely be swollen and thus his ring less likely to fall off. Of course, the ring was also bloodless, and as I believe his hand got bloody before the fall, he had taken it off to meet with the woman whose perfume he smelt of. It was not depression his wife had sensed in him, but guilt, or at least nerves. Perhaps he had even met up with her with the intention of breaking it off now his wife was back. Though that seems unlikely, knowing that you were meant to meet up with them as well.
How?
I wouldn't suggest you keep talking until you have a lawyer. During the meeting, right next to where the body would be found, Luke's phone rang. His wife calling to say she had arrived back home.
Somehow, in this exchange, his mistress realized he was still married and started getting hysterical. A fight broke out, and she ran off. He runs up to the roof to try and spot her, telling you to go after her. His shoes were clean, so at that point there's no spillage. He calls his wife, not because he misses her or feels depressed, but to get her to leave the house in case his mistress is going there, to inform his wife of the things going on. He glimpses the woman, and in his anger screams, "Come here!" He hangs up the phone. He sees her and shouts to get your attention before pointing to her, right here.
He was saying over there to indicate a direction, not to track that foolish old lady. People so often assume they're the subject of people's attention, when it's simply not so. He waits for you to arrive to our location, but
It was dark and I couldn't find her.
He can see as much from his vantage point. In frustration, Luke swings his leg and kicks the bucket. A different weight from expected, and the momentum of the kick makes him spin around and fall off the roof. In an attempt to reach and grab the edge, he throws his phone onto the roof.
before plummeting to the ground and kicking the bucket once more.
And the girl. I'm guessing you did this to her then.
Well, no, I found her like this. She died from the injuries she got in the fight. Luke whacked her in the back of the head.
Hence the bloody hand.
She appears to have a bunch of injuries. How do I know the blood was not from one of those and you might have dealt the final blow?
See, that would have been the case, but the blow on the back of her head is from the left side, matching the hand of Luke's, whereas idiot here is right-handed.
Oh, for God's sake.
So you wanted to know how I knew you weren't at the scene. Simple. Luke did not have any signs of being a smoker, whereas you do, idiot. Least of which, the traces of ash on your right boot and the discoloration in your right fingernails.
As you say, when I found her like that, I just stood still, stone cold for who knows how long. And when I heard the commotion in the house, I climbed the tree to hide and have a cig.
There you have it, Lestrade. Hopefully next time you'll realise that people like events are never as simple as they must first appear.